Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank y'all so much for stopping by. I know I'm on here a little bit early, but I wanted to make sure I was getting a good signal. I'm sitting out here by the swimming pool. As you can see behind me, that's the ocean. Shout out to the NTZ crew, Jacob, Tanjay, and Michael Beach of Life. I hope both of y'all on here. Thank y'all so much for what y'all do. What's up, Cisco? All my fourth quarter members. Thank y'all for y'all support. I haven't forgot about you. If this goes well, then I'll be able to do a members only live stream from here before we leave. It's Friday morning here, so we're leaving. We're checking out of here Sunday at noon. But actually, we've got to move rooms today. It's the only thing about Agoda that I don't like. They'll split your damn rooms up, and that's what they've done. What's up, Kamal? Shit. Yeah, it's pretty nice out here today. Matter of fact, it's beautiful. Let me see what I got here. See, we're gonna have trouble again. Stupid stuff. Okay. Who is this? Hey, what's up, Marlon? He said, good evening. Good morning, Cal and crew. Yes, early here. Any new viewers and subscribers join us for the first time today? Welcome. And anybody catching this on replay? The peso is 55.68. I guess that's going to be the norm now. I guess it'll stay at 55 point something for a few months until they figure out what's going on. He said, "Tam, I hope you're doing. Tam, I hope you're doing good, bro." I guess he's talking about what times he travels. What's up? What times he travels? I know you're going to be over here. You said in the Philippines. Ronald Country Boy said, "Wow, that looks like a green screen." No, it's not, man. It's the real deal. We found us a gym here, Ronald Country Boy. I know in my last video I was talking about the progress. Yeah, that's down south. I'm actually trying to upload a video now where uh, I'm advising people when you come to Siquijor to go as north of the Métis area as you possibly can, the San Juan Métis area. That's where all the progress is going on, man. I remember, and I used to think out loud to myself when I lived there, and I'd see all these new resorts and restaurants going up. I'm like, man, they must know something we don't know because, man, there were so few tourists. But yeah, there were some visionaries there. They knew exactly what they were doing. That place is crowded now. But there's nothing wrong with progress. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not down in the progress. That's Jacob Tanjay. I'm just saying that sometimes, man, it can ruin paradise. Certainly, if the infrastructure is not ready for it. I don't think that they knew as many people was going to come as fast as they did. It's been an onslaught, really. I mean, even now, when we went on, we were going to try to buy our ferry tickets online yesterday. They're all booked up, man, for Sunday. The only thing open is 6 p.m. because I guess everybody's going back on Sunday. Then Monday, the 6 a.m. is booked because people are going to work. But I watched Panglao Bahal, man. Panglao Bahal. Okay. If anybody's ever been to Panglao, what's known as the Strip, in 2010, it wasn't even there. None of that was there. The only thing that was there, okay, if you've been there, you'll see the big McDonald's on the corner, Jollibee, and then all those restaurants and um, establishments on one side and down the other. Indian restaurants, you got souvenir shops, all that. None of that was there. The only thing that was there was right across that little grocery store that's still there. Those people are rich, I'm sure. They're rich, and I'm sure that their property value has just skyrocketed. That was the only thing, and they had a laundry next to it. I watched that place explode, man. I mean, it literally, it was like overnight. It went from this little sleepy place to now one of the biggest tourist attractions in the Philippines. That's progress. That's what's going to happen here. You know how we talk about corporate America? Well, they got a corporate Philippines. There's people who can see where the future is in tourism and where the money is going. And the people who did that Panglao Hall, they're geniuses. Hey, Rashard Smith, thanks for that super chat. He said, Richie Mack did a video about finding a Thai built like a sister, but feminine. And what? But feminine. He said, do they come in abundance like Maryland? Uh, late homie. I don't know what you're saying, late homie in the Philippines. Well, if you're talking about, do Filipinos, are they shapely and all of that? Absolutely, man. You gotta realize the Filipinos aren't the typical Asian people as we've come to know them. And I know it sounds cringy, and I don't mean to offend anybody. You know, with the Japanese, Chinese, South Korean, everything's straight up and down. Not over here. There's a mix of everything: Polynesian, Asian, uh, what you got? European with the Spanish, African. It's all here, man. And yeah, they're built. Certainly, the further south you go, when you go down to Mindanao, if you really want to see shapely women, I'm talking about TNA. That's where it is. I mean, if that's what turns you on, okay, that's where it is. Remember my wife when I met her, she was 36, 26, 36. Hey, what's up, Status Boom X? Thanks for joining the chat. Remember that 36, 26, 36, and she weighed 100 pounds. I'm just telling you. So yeah, I mean, beauty's everywhere, but I don't know. Uh, you know, of course, you see all that stuff in in Thailand too. But yeah, beauty's everywhere. But yeah, I watched Panglao Hall just like what is it? Metamorphosis? Is that the right word? It's really two different places. I mean, it was only actually it was a little sleepy beachfront because they only had a few hotels on that beach. Some of them were in, um, they were constructing others. I stayed at the ISIS the very first time I came there in 2010. It was only like $46 a night or something, right on the beach. Just like this one. This is $40 a night, $41 a night, right on the beach. And I don't really know how you doing. Ryan Buntag. Um, I don't know, if Agoda always adds their little extra price to it. Because I asked the lady, I said, "Do you have a private number if I wanted to book this, without going through Agoda? Because Agoda, they're gonna get theirs. But yeah, it's crazy. But the the Maiti area of San Juan, because San Juan runs pretty far. I'm still in San Juan now, but that's where all the tourists and tourism spots are. They've even got a nightclub there now, outdoor nightclub. It's packed. You gotta understand something. Gladwin's place, where I'm staying now, he doesn't have a slow time anymore. He used to have a slow time where he would rent month to month. He can't do that anymore. He's got a board now out in his courtyard, and it shows that his rooms are booked up, fully booked for the next 2 months. That's crazy. Hey, Prince Hakeem, he says, morning. Hey, Cal, does your email work here in Cebu? It does. CalRoach1 at gmail.com. Soul Snatcher said, what's up, Cal, and the Sunshine Shoulders crew? What part of the country you're in, Cal? We're in, we're on Siquijor Island. We'll be here for a couple of more days, and we're north of where we normally are. I took a chance on coming here, really. I'm glad I did. This place is nice. I mean, it really isn't that old for real. But you know, when if you ever been to the Philippines and they do everything in concrete, sometimes as the concrete ages and they don't um, maintain it the way it's supposed to be, it makes the place look older than it really is. This place couldn't be that old because otherwise, it's like, where would they get their clients from? Because when you look at the swimming pool, it has the bar, it has everything. It's right next to the reception area. It's connected to the reception area and the restaurant. You know it's not that old. It just looks old. But if you want seclusion, see, we're about 6.5 kilometers, almost 7 kilometers away from where we normally are. We kind of outrun the progress. See, there's no tourists here. Now there were more, um, you know, renters, I guess you would call them, here last night. As you know, as the evening went on, because there was two guys over, two Europeans over playing tennis. Then I saw two women together on the beach right here. But yeah, it's really nice right here. W Secrets to Success. What's up? Welcome to the live stream. He said, at what times it travels, it's Bitcoin and other investments, a slow and hold strategy. Yeah, I don't understand the Bitcoin because it goes up, and how do you win if it goes up? If you're not supposed to cash it in, the next thing you know, it comes down. Is that a game just to sit there and watch it and have fun watching it? I don't understand the Bitcoin. But yeah, it's beautiful out here. Uh, Johnny S said cryptocurrency is a scam. Well, you can't walk into the 7-Eleven and buy anything with crypto. Not at this point. I know there's a lot of places that take it, but I mean, after all these years, it's not as mainstream as what I thought it would be, and what everybody was trying to convince you it was going to be. So it's almost like a secret society because people aren't, they don't get it. I don't certainly don't get it. This is so messed up, man. He said it's a Ponzi scheme. Is it? Is that what it is? I don't really know. But on that video I was telling you about, when in 2010, when I first glimpsed Siquijor Island, I was standing on the boulevard in um, Dumaguete, and I was with my girlfriend who became my wife, and she warned me never to go there. She said, "Oh, they're going to poison your food, and they're going to cast spells on you. You don't ever go there." And I remember this is 2010 because I'm looking out over there, and I'm like, "Well, what's that over there?" And she was almost afraid to even talk about it. Now fast forward to 2016, because I saw, it's called, I had to write this down. It's called Drew's Travel Adventures. And he's a young Filipino guy. He's sort of like the Anthony Bourdain of the Philippines. He goes all over, eats the food, and it immerses himself in the local culture and everything. And he came here, and I was watching it. I was in America, and I was like, "Oh, the next time I go to the Philippines, I'm going there." And my wife was like, "I'm not going." I said, "Well, I'm going by myself." And she ended up going. Me, her, even her mother went with her. And man, I was hooked right then and there. What's up? I love LaChine. He said, yeah, lots of superstitions are common in the Philippines. Yeah, I mean, you got to understand, it took 6 years for me to eventually come over here. I didn't even think people came there. It wasn't until I watched that show, I Love LaChine, that I realized, I was like, hell, it's nice over there. I mean, there's literally nobody there at the time. And he was in San Juan. He was in the Métis area, in the white sand beaches. He went to that. I can't pronounce these names. I mean, so much beautiful nature here. And that's one thing. See, I'm trying to upload a video now where I'm on this compound. And, Michael Beecher Life was telling me that Siquijor made a vow that they were going to limit commercial expansion because they wanted to keep it natural. Because, man, it's beautiful here. The the beauty is here. It's always been here. What's happening is more people are coming, and I think it's not built for all those people. If you go to the underground falls, man, you could see where it's going down, down, down. Now, a big time celebrity here, her name's Ann Curtis. She went there. Now, remember, this woman is in great shape. She ran a marathon before, and she's not full Filipino. She's half. I want to say Australian and Filipino, but she's beautiful. She would be like Zsa Zsa Gabor. Remember Zsa Zsa Gabor and the Gabor sisters? How guys would go Google when they see them. Well, that's how they go over her. She's real popular, but she's a better actress than any of the Gabor sisters. Well, she came here and went down there, and they got these trapeze bars where you swing out and jump into the falls. Well, she's doing this acrobatic trapeze act and get people going crazy. Now they're coming over here trying to reenact it. But I'm telling you right now, ladies, if you try to do that, you better be in damn good shape. You're gonna end up hurting your damn self. But she started a craze because I've never seen so many people come over here. I mean, every boat is full. I mean, usually when you go to Siquijor, man, there's plenty seats. You just walk up uh, to the ticket booth and buy your ticket. I mean, at the last minute, you don't try that right now, guys. Okay, it's not gonna work. I'm sorry, but it's not. Okay, he says the island had fireflies, so Spanish thought it had fire. It's the island of fire. Is it what Siquijor? Is this what you're saying? Because here it seems to be we haven't had any brownouts here. Now we had a brownout the other day because they were talking about. See, I can't remember having so many brownouts. Marilyn said she could when we lived here. I don't remember it. I remember having them, and they would be long. But since we've been here this time, we had one at night. It was like three small ones, she said. But since I've been here, and the Wi-Fi, as you can see, is pretty good. Give me a thumbs up if I'm clear, because I don't really know. I took this chance by coming out here because I wanted to show y'all as much as I could. I was going to do it inside. Merlin's like, nah, it'd be better outside if you could do it outside. But yeah, I'm afraid of that cryptocurrency. But yeah, I believe that guy Andrew, I think he really opened up the floodgates over here. You can't blame me for that because they're saying, because I was telling Michael Beecher Life, I sent him some pictures. He said, don't tell anybody. I said, man, I could tell people they're never going to come this far. All the years I've been coming over, I've never been this far north. I've been past this place, but you can't see this place. You can't see this place from the street. This is way off the beaten path. There's only a small little sign that says Gold View out on the main street. So if you decide to come here, you better get a tricycle driver that knows where he's going because you'll see that little sign and then he makes a right turn down this little rickety winding road. I mean, it's beat up. You can't go any more than 2 miles per hour. It's about a kilometer, maybe three-fourths a kilometer off the main road. And you come through the gate and here you are. But eventually they're gonna find this place. Here's the workers coming. Oh, Laura's in the. Hey, Laura. He said, "Hey, Laura." So Laura's in the chat. Welcome, Laura. I need to check out Laura's channel. Give her some support. Not that she's really looking to grow or anything, but she's got some interesting takes on California, where she's from. These damn caps again. But you know what? What's so crazy about this place here? I'm pleasantly surprised. The food is excellent here. But what'll happen is I tell you that, and then you'll come here and they change cooks. We had for dinner last night, and it's cheap. These are regular Filipino prices. That's how I know that the tourists haven't gotten here yet. Okay, we had pancit gasada last night. And when you do pancit gasada and bihon gasada, it's the noodle. Pancit is the pancit noodles, the thicker noodles. And we're thinking, well, let's see what it's like because at Mawani, they make the best bihon gasada in all the Philippines. Well, whoever's cooking here, man, this was delicious. I know when food is good because Marilyn will eat it all. She'll eat everything on her plate. Okay, remember she's local, so she knows if it's made the way it's supposed to be. Man, this pancit gasada, it was chicken too. It was delicious. The vegetables were not overcooked. It was delicious. It was only 280 pesos, and it fed both of us. So if you look at it, let's just say 56. What's that? Six? That's not even $6. That's $5. Is what that meal cost. But it's delicious. What's up, Mike Alexander? Welcome to the chat. But yeah, I came to the Philippines to get away from it all. Even when I first came in 2009, I came to get away from it all. You know, all that death was in my family and stuff. Man, I said, I want to go somewhere as far away from the United States as I possibly could. And I came here because they spoke English. And I was like, well, maybe I can, it wouldn't take so much, to get acclimated here. But I knew nothing about the Philippines. But if you're trying to get away, man, this is a perfect place. I mean, I don't know about anybody else. I'm tired of working, man. I've been working my whole life. As a matter of fact, working from the factory to the grave was and is a reality for a lot of us over there. We don't know anything else. We don't know if we can stop working. I certainly did. But when I started coming in 2009, I didn't relocate here into 2018. I knew my money was going to be enough, man. I needed a break. I'm very fortunate, man, that my YouTube channel um, caught on, because I'd have been back a long time ago. But once I turned 62, I just came back. Hey, Sakaria, thanks for that super chat. Hey, Cal, how's your vacation going? I'm stressed in the U.S. I've never been on a real vacation before. Wow. See, this is why I make these videos for people like you. It says, wait, hopefully, yeah, I can relax like you one day. Be safe. Oh man, you hit me between the eyes with this one, man. But this is the reason I make these videos to show people what's out here. And I know people are tired of work, and I know you're tired of hamster wheel. We're just working to pay bills is what I was doing because I wasn't willing to. I was working twice as hard already just to maintain my lifestyle. And of course, like I told you, my wife, she just didn't understand. I needed a break. To her, it was like, what you need a break for? You got it made over here. Because we make it look easy. Because as men, we don't show, we don't wear our emotions on our sleeves. We don't want everybody else around us panicking. But yeah, I was struggling over there. And I knew where I could get away. He said, see, read Sakara's chat instantly. He skipped past the ninja like I stole something from him. No, I can't. You know, you got to understand, I'm on my phone, Rashard. I can't get to, I'm not on my a laptop, man. I'm going to get to very few today. I mean, I got just like a smidgen of a space where I can just hit the, um, scroll up. But you've been following me long enough, man. You know how many people's on here. You know how many comments it is. I can't. I'm not one of those. I'm just gonna go down. If I just went down, first of all, I can't do that because it keeps going. But you see some people on their live stream. They just go from one comment to one comment. That's not me, man. That's not why people follow my live streams. I mean, that would be so boring. Hell, I'd put myself to sleep. I try to get to as many of them as I possibly can. I mean, don't take it personal. I mean, this is where you should have put your question right here. You know, I read your super chat. You were talking about, he was talking about, but we've talked about this so many times, Rashad. I don't know why you need to be reassured over and over and over. Beauty is everywhere. There's absolutely gorgeous women over here in the Philippines, man. I mean, any shape, size, color, whatever you're looking for. The Philippines is just as diverse as the United States. People don't believe me. When you go to these different islands, it's like you're going to a different country for real. The only thing that the thread that goes through this place is the thick culture. And a lot of times these different islands have their own culture. The food is different. They have their own languages. The way that they do things is different. But if you're looking for beauty, man, hell, you came to the right place. I mean, how many times do we got to tell you? Some guy was asking me the other day, hey, where's all the half black and half Filipinos? They're over here. You saw Jillian. Okay, it's just so many. If you go up by Angeles City, Subic Bay, around that area, the Pampanga region, you're gonna see that. Where the servicemen were and stuff like that. But this is basic stuff. You know, I don't want to spend a whole hour and a half talking about women, even though we eventually will. But that's the last thing you got to worry about beautiful women over here. I mean, they're traditional over here too. You're going to get, that's what you're going to get over here. That's the difference. There's beauty everywhere, but you're not going to get all that attitude here that you get at home. I told you my wife she's from Mindanao, Zamboanga City. And even her two sisters was like that. They were built like that. They wasn't built like the typical Filipino. They had TNA. They were shapely. The mother is shapely. If you don't believe that the Philippines is diverse, okay, here's what I suggest you do. This will show you more than anything. If you fly into Cebu, go to Malapascua Island, and you're basically going to see black people there. Okay, these people are about as close to uh, I'm talking about all of them, with curly hair and, but the women, a lot of them are that's my color, but they just have that long, beautiful, flowing hair. But a lot of the guys got afros, and I was like, Maryland, because I was like, Maryland, who are these people? And these are regular Filipinos. I said, no, they're not. I've been around the Philippines. I ain't regular Filipinos. Look how dark they are. She said, oh, it's the sun. But then we start seeing different shades. I was like, see, that's the typical Filipino there and this and that. No, you go to Malapascua Island and tell me that the Philippines isn't diverse. It is. It's very diverse if that's what you're looking for. It's just as diverse as the United States. But, guys, you don't have to be assured about women over here, man. Turn on any channel, man. They're going to be talking about uh, women and relationships and how beautiful the women are over here. I mean, you see Merlin. Merlin's 43 because, she was like, oh, you don't know how to take a picture. She's so bashful of her shape, right? Because she thinks she looks big on camera. I said, Marilyn, it's not a lot of 43-year-old women can even wear a bikini. Certainly not where I come from. Okay. But that's the type of women I was meeting when I first came over here. Has it gotten, uh, is it different now? Yeah, because hell, that was 16 years ago. But I'm not going to make a video to say, oh, dating, don't come over here, dating's out of hand. And I saw where Geo made a video the other day. Yeah, things are different, but at the same time, when they talk about social media, guys, that helped you. That helped you meet more women. It makes more women accessible to us. And it's a double-edged sword. But to say that, dating's down the drain, look, I'm going to tell you right now, don't give up on the Philippines when it comes to dating, okay? You can if you want to. It'll just be more for everybody else who's looking, but no, I'm not going to go that far. I'm not going to go that far and say that dating's out of hand. I think that was, and that's just his perspective. I'm not trolling him or anything. I think that was Shad Foster that said that. I don't come here now, dating's out of hand. I mean, what do y'all want these women to do? What do y'all expect they're going to do when you get over here? This is the question I have to ask you. Put it over here. What do you expect out of dating over here? I mean, what do you expect these women to do? Just be butt naked at the airport and just lay down and let you walk over top of them? I don't understand it. I mean, it doesn't get any better for older men than it does here. I'm sorry, man. It doesn't. So to expect any more, man, you're being ungrateful. You ought to be thanking your lucky stars that there's a place like this that exists. Because everywhere I go, even here and on this resort, the other guests that I told you that I saw, you know, do you really think these guys? I could show y'all pictures where I just be in my own world and I see these couples. I take pictures just so I can look at them and be like, man, you better be lucky that the Philippines exists, dude, because you're not getting anything over there. So for these guys to get on here and say, oh, the Philippines dating is crazy. No, that's not true. I'm going to push back against that. I'm sorry. Jacob Chanje said, true story, brother Cal. Reassure. Yeah, you got to, because remember the true girl. Remember Jim said, yeah, we're competing. That's why we wear the sexy stuff. We're not trying to impress the men. We're competing against each other. And that's really all it is. Uh, I have to reassure because, and when you start dating women over here, you're going to have to reassure them, man. They've got a lot of women, the typical Filipinos, they're insecure. No one's really ever told them that they're beautiful. Remember, beauty's in the eyes of the beholder, but no one's really told them they're beautiful like that. But some women, it goes to their head. So many people have been telling them they're beautiful. Now they start believing it. Is that happening over here? Yeah. But is it time for you to scratch the Philippines off your list as far as finding good women and all that stuff? No. Man, they're going too far with that. It's not true. I don't know what y'all expect. I'm telling you, I'm boots on the ground over here. I'm telling you what I'm seeing, living, and experiencing. It's never been better, really. Maybe that's the video I need to make. But we don't need those type of videos. There's enough of those out here. We don't have to keep going in that direction, guys. If you that damn uh insecure, there's no place on this planet where you can find a woman then that you need to be reassured over and over and over, month after month after month, year after year after year. Yeah, I'm sorry, this is one place where if you got conversation, persuasion, you're a decent human being. Dating is the last thing, but I just don't understand what y'all really want. I came here because I didn't want what American women were offering. because the guy on the last live stream, he said, yeah, they becoming just like American women, Western women. They do this, they do that. He said they want money and they want you for your looks. I said, yeah, but they don't complain. That's one thing you're not gonna hear over here. If you if you're with a woman and she's complaining, dude, you with the wrong woman. Okay. Now here, this is we talk to here. Here's one, two, three uh beautiful young women checking into the hotel. Yeah. I'm sorry, guys. And y'all getting the wrong information. I'm not trying to um, sell the Philippines. I don't need to sell the Philippines. That's what I'm saying on this next video. People always accuse me of that. I'm telling you what happened to me. I came over here and I was able to create a life that I used to dream about. You may not even like it over here. You may not even be able to create the life that I did, but more than likely you will. I mean, if you got, any type of ability left. I mean, remember they give you that ball of clay when you come over here. They give you a ball of clay and they give you free money here. It's up to you to fashion the life that you want out of that clay. But you certainly get free money. A lot of people squander it. He said, my bad, Unc. I super chat asking about Mindanao being safe. Okay, I didn't see I couldn't it must have you must have had a lot of spell checks. Well, it's safe for me. For the most part, there's a lot of Americans living there. The State Department says reconsider your travel to Mindanao. It's a 3, but some areas there are 4, Rashard. Okay, um, but there's so many foreigners that live there. I mean, if you're just gonna hit and miss, if you got a problem going there, then meet the girl online and say, okay, here's where I met my girlfriend, who eventually became my wife. See, I didn't know. The only thing I knew about Mindanao, the first time I ever heard of Mindanao, the very first woman I dated here in the Philippines when I came here, she was like, no, they're gonna salvage you. And I didn't know what salvage meant. But what it meant was, they're gonna kill you and cut your head off. I was like, well, why would they do that? It never even, it just went through one ear and out the other, because the next woman that I met lived in Mindanao and I went there. She lived in northern Mindanao. I never had any problems. Okay. But if you got a problem, so I said, okay, meet me in Cebu. And I flew her to Cebu, man. What was it? $30 or something back then, maybe even less. Something like 1,000 pesos to fly from Zamboanga City to Cebu. It's only like a 35-minute flight. But I've got a friend now, Jason, from California. He's here now. He just got back. He lives in Mindanao. He doesn't live far from where Elliot Eastman lives. He lives about an hour and a half from where Elliot Eastman lives. If you mind your own business and all of that, you should be okay. But they're saying that we can't guarantee your safety there. Remember one of the last foreigners that got killed over here in the Philippines of Westerners was down in Mindanao. But he was in northern Mindanao. He was close to where I was going. I'm thinking it's not even bad there. But it was in Mindanao. So just be careful. But I mean, it's no worse than, I went to Chicago. If you believe everything you want to believe about um, Chicago, hell, I've been there. Honestly, I have. I ain't got no problem. But I had two of the best, showing me around. So long as you with that woman, I don't think you're gonna have a problem. In my humble opinion, I believe Elliot Eastman was personal, man. Most of the crime over here is personal. I've said that so many times. There's very little random crime here. You hear somebody getting kidnapped, they're targeted. You hear somebody getting killed, it's targeted. But yeah, I've been traveling. Remember, Rashard, I lived there for over 10 years, on and off over 10 years. I lived in Zamboanga City. I was there through the whole, just about the whole pandemic, the lockdown and all that. I was living in squatter area, man. Those people treated me as well as I've ever been treated. Now, would that be your experience? I don't know. I can't really say. I know it's safe for me. Hey, Will Brook, thanks for that super chat. That's what it is. I can't hardly see because the sun's in my eye. Let me see. He said, "Salute, Cal. I leave Monday for a week in Cartagena. Wow. Then I'll be heading out to Asia with my son and nephew to vacation and see where I'll retire soon, man. I love Cartagena. Thank you for that super chat. It's been so long since I was there, but it was so good that after all these years, like 40 years, I still got great memories of it. It's like I was there yesterday. I remember the woman I was with. I remember running out of money and had to borrow from one of my friends because that's one of those places where you're gonna spend all your money. If you're a young 20-year-old seller, I mean the women there, man, just if you're into women, man, you got to be careful when you go to places like that. That's what happens to guys when they come here. I mean, honestly, that's what happens. They see these women, and uh, it's not like Brazil and some of those other places where you got to do a lot of fantasizing. You can actually meet the women here. They're approachable, and they'll talk to you. You know, I don't know if they are. You know, a lot of times they got boyfriends, man. If look, if you think they're attractive, so does the locals. Hey, TJ, welcome to the chat. But uh, you know, one thing that I wanted to talk about today, you hear a lot of people complaining about the Philippines. That's because they're disappointed that when they come here, they don't find what they left behind. See, this place is different. That's the reason I love it. That's the reason I've never grown tired of it. It's never gotten boring to me. Because every single day I see something that's just in stark contrast to what I'm used to in America. And just only made it better when I went home for that 7 week break and I come back and you see a place like this. You're like, could I ever experience something like this at home? Where, you know, just a sprinkling of uh, people here on this whole big resort. We had the whole swimming pool to ourselves yesterday. I'm gonna upload some stuff with me and Merlin in the swimming pool. I mean, right now it's empty. Of course, Filipinos they don't go swimming when the sun is out. But having this swimming pool because it's built the way it is, it's covered in shade because of the building. You know, you got the bar there, but it's so different here, and that's why they complain all the time. I wasn't looking for all that glamour and the infrastructure and all that when I came to the Philippines. I wasn't. I was looking to get away, man. I really did. I needed a break. I knew, you know, my money was going to be enough here. And I tell you all the time, man, life is precious, man. We don't know how we got here for real. Let's be honest. We don't know how we got here. We don't know why we're here. We don't know how long we're going to be here. So we might as well explore. One of the mistakes I made my whole life was doing what other people did. And the people who came before me thinking that's the right thing to do when they didn't even know. They didn't have the answers. They're just following the followers that came before them. What if you stepped out of line like I've done and start doing things different? Start taking more risk, really taking some chances because no one really has the answer. You think because everybody else is doing it, that's the right thing to do. Maybe it's not. Who says I have to have $1 million to retire? I said the hell with that. I had 17,000. I had 3,000 in cash, 14,000 coming on a commission check. Okay, and then this was in December, so I had to work with that for a whole month because I knew January my renewals were gonna kick in about 1,900. People thought I was crazy. Certainly, the people I work with, like, man, you're leaving this job at the top of your game. Look at all the money you're leaving behind. I've never had a second thought about that. As long as I got enough money to survive, man, that's all I need. I don't need I don't even respect rich people anymore. I'm talking about super rich. They bore me, man. I really look at them like, dude, you're weird to have all that money and people all around you starving. How can you sleep at night? It don't even impress me anymore. I don't want to be that rich. I don't want to be a billionaire because I'd probably give all my money away. These guys running around with all these expensive cars and stuff. Hey, he says to Paul, says, how's this new COVID variant being tolerated over there? Evidently, it's pretty bad in China, Thailand, and others. What's funny you bring this up, but because I haven't heard anything about this, but on Siquijor Island, there's been an outbreak of what's called glanders. We just found this out yesterday. We had no idea. And, it's a bulletin, put out. And glanders, you catch it from horses, mules, and donkeys. It can be transmitted from animals to humans, but from human to human is very rare. But it's such that some people are calling to lock this place down. That's why Merlin was like, let's get out of here. And I was like, don't panic. Let's wait because human to human is very rare. But this glanders virus is on Siquijor right now. But the COVID variant, I haven't heard anything about it. But it's crazy that you brought that up because we were going to dinner last night and Merlin was panicking because one of her friends had made reservations to come here and canceled her reservation because of that. So just keep a lookout in the newspapers and all that for that. Hey, Cam Butch, he says, I'm married. Wow, it's Filipina. And okay, I'm married. It says, wow, it's Filipina and I'm half Filipino and black. I want to move there so bad. My middle son cried when I brought it up about moving there. Anyone have advice? Well, I've got two sons, two Filipino sons. But they both were born here, but one was basically raised in America and one was raised here. And the one who was raised in America, of course, when he came back here for those 2 years, he wasn't happy. You know, they're young and they become, accustomed to things a certain way. But my son who grew up here, he wants to come back, but he's acclimated to America now. But after a while, my son that was born in America who came back here, he started to like it because the schools, as you look, he went to the first grade here. I believe the first and second grade here. And he blossomed here. Whereas they said he was having trouble there. I'm like, well, how? This guy's so smart. Well, he come here and he really blossomed. And they love the weather and it's like I don't know, it would be like really like a Disneyland. If your son was here right now, that would change depending on how old he is. But it'd certainly be a culture shock. Okay, that's for sure. It would certainly be a culture shock. Hey, Black Paper One, thanks for that super chat. He says we struggle uh, to re-indoctrinate ourselves away from the jaded view of the prettiest girls going to the highest bidder, even when entering a new world. Yeah, well, you make a great point here because we're still intimidated by beauty. And, a lot of times guys will come over here and they won't even try to meet the most attractive Filipinos. They feel, oh, she don't want me, I'm unworthy, and so they'll settle, just for, just they'll date on their level when something much more prettier and much more attractive is available, and that's from over there. That's because of our attitudes in the West. A lot of guys, that's why they have to be reassured over and over. Hey, is dating, what's dating like over there and all that. I don't care how many times you tell them. There's a segment of the society over here that dates foreign men. And 18 to 80, blind, crippled, or crazy. As long as you're a decent human being and you're not going to mistreat them, there's guys over here with dime pieces, man. They wouldn't have nothing in America. They got dime pieces. I mean, really. I mean, and these are typical Filipinos. They don't have the big head simply because of the internet. See, the internet has been a godsend, really. Remember, there's only 45% of Filipino adults in the city that have access to the internet. It's not this big uh, countrywide explosion that everybody tells you. And then it's even less in the province. 34% of adults have access to the internet. It's not what people are picturing it. It's not what you're picturing in your mind, that everybody's sitting around a computer. Most of the time, what you're gonna see, certainly if you're on a bus and you're traveling between these little cities and municipalities, you're gonna see a woman on the side of the road or a man on the side of the road trying to get a signal on their phone. They're gonna be on the phone because you're in these remote places, man. I mean, trust me, I'm telling you the truth. But the ones that can get a signal, they're getting online. So now you have more options. Look at it on the positive side instead of the negative side. We westernize the women. It's not the internet. Once she starts dealing with you, remember osmosis? That's real. You're going to pick up stuff from her, and she's going to pick up stuff from you, but her behavior is going to change because of you. Now she's sleeping on a real mattress every night. Cold aircon, so cold she'll tell you to cut it off when she's not used to having it. Eat till she gets sick. Go to nice places like this when she's normally at work. See, I'm telling you what's really going on over here. I'm not making stuff up. See, these topics is going to get people in trouble because you gotta, now you gotta, put content around the topic. And a lot of times they be making shit up, man, because I'm looking at the same stuff y'all looking at. This is one of the reasons I made my channel, because I'm like, dude, it's not the Philippines I'm living in. You watch these, channels, and I respect them because it's not easy to have a YouTube channel and make content. It makes people, click on you and stay watching you and stuff like that. But once you've been over here a few times and your boots on the ground and immerse yourself in the Filipino culture, you'll see that a lot of stuff they're talking is bullshit. You know, you got to come over here and make your own, uh, get your own perspective about the place. But it's a whole lot better than what people make it out to be. It's hip now to make a video down in the Philippines. I don't know where that came from. And if it's so bad, then why are you still over here making vlogs? If it's so bad. Paul K, he said, hey, Hayden, we have a mutual buddy, Derek with Q Adventures. Oh, okay. Yeah, Derek, he's a good guy, man. I haven't seen Derek in a while, but he's a good guy. He's one of the good guys, really. W Secret to Success says the most important thing about moving overseas is assessing and protecting the bag, aka the money. If you don't think so, help around and find out. Yeah, certainly important. But where we get off track and where we get into these debates is how much money. And that's what stops people from even getting out here and even trying. If you don't try, then you're certainly going to fail. If you try, you might fail. Okay, so what? Now you know what doesn't work, and you can come back the next time and do something different. That's what they said with Thomas Edison. He said, "Oh, you failed 10,000 times." He said, "No, I found 10,000 things that don't work." When he was talking about, inventing the fluorescent light, the iridescent light, and that's what we got to do. But you certainly, if you plan on staying over here any considerable period of time, you got to have some money coming in or a nice chunk of money. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to enjoy the Philippines. You're not going to be able to take advantage of the opportunities that are here for you. I'm taking advantage of it, man. I mean, to the best that I can. You got to realize, man, I'm taking care of 6 people and I'm still living my best life. Most people aren't taken care of nowhere near that. So when people talk to me about a budget, they don't believe me. And most of the thing I pay for when I'm at home is food and, the daily activities of living. Food, electric, water, Wi-Fi, which I'm gonna pay today. I'm gonna send Maryland by Gcash. That's it. Every now and then, maybe once a month, once every other month, we'll go somewhere like this. We were supposed to take this vacation when I first landed. We were going to Puerto Galera. But I said, no, let me get back. I miss Booby. I miss being at home, just walking around, drinking my coffee. So that's the reason we came here. And believe it or not, I was going to cancel this reservation. Our experience was so bad in uh, the other part of San Juan. No Wi-Fi at all, man. I mean, when you don't have any Wi-Fi, it's almost like not having any power. It's like you're in a brownout, even though you got electricity. I mean, you're cut off from the world. And some of y'all be like, well, good, but not me, especially when you got little kids. We can't uh we can't check on them. We don't know what's going on. Dragon Belly says they respect firmness, clarity, and discipline. It shows self-respect. Yeah, they just don't want to be mistreated, man. We've got a reputation over here, a bad one. That we come over here and use women as a pastime. And for the most part, it's not true. Are there men who do that? Yeah, because they're so trusting. Because really, they have to be. Remember, the party don't start till you get here. So any thought of her getting the visa, the new life, and all that stuff like that, it doesn't start till you boots on the ground. And so they're going to believe the things that you're saying. So she's going to hold up her end of the bargain of the unspoken agreement. But yeah, you're right, because that's one thing Merlin says about me. She really likes. She said, Calvin, you're responsible. Now, does that mean the men she had before were irresponsible? I don't know, but she really likes that, the fact that I am disciplined and I pay the bills and I take care of business. That's the surety that she needs in her life. See, I'm an insurance agent. I work off commission. A lot of people love certainty. I don't like certainty as much as other people. I like waking up every day not knowing what this day is going to bring. That's what makes it exciting to me. I don't want to know what I'm going to do. It's just that's why I had to get off. I had to leave that factory behind. And man, I had some great factory jobs. I had some great factory jobs, some of the best that they offer in the United States. But I couldn't deal with it because I knew what I was going to be doing every damn day. My last great job that I had was with Borden Chemical. And I forgot what we were making. We were making something. I forgot what it was. It was some type of chemical that went into some other product, rubber or something. But I knew I was going to do that every day. And even though now this is in 19, let's see, I got sober in 1998. So this would have had to been in 1997. And I'm making, $1,000 a week then. We'd work 12-hour swing shifts. And every month we'd get a week off, just like it was when I worked for DuPont Chemicals in 1992. But at some point I got bored with it, man. I couldn't do it. But people work those jobs for 40 years because they know every Friday they're going to get that big check. I didn't like it. Hey, JG Gibble, thanks for that super chat. He said, thank you, Cal. He said, I enjoy your words of wisdom. Well, I appreciate it, man. I don't know if you would consider them words of wisdom. It's really just my experience, really, over here. And I just try to give it to you, really, boots on the ground, man. I'm not selling the Philippines. The Philippines doesn't need me to sell it. It can sell itself. When you over here, man, look how quiet it is. Remember, I tell y'all all the time, y'all think I just be on here talking like I'm yapping. I said, the Philippines doesn't get the credit it deserves for being this peaceful place. It's peaceful over here. You can still go as much progress as it is going on over here because they've got a corporate Philippines. But as much progress as you see going on here, there's enough places, man, where you can go and get away from it all. You don't have to be bothered with anybody. There's places here where you can go and no one will ever find you. That's how remote they are. But yet they still have a Wi-Fi signal. I've been coming to Siquijor Island since 2016, and I didn't even know this place existed. I never came this far down for a resort. Now, of course, it's a circle. It's 72 kilometers in circumference. So when you go to the Belady tree, the 500-year-old tree, some people say 1,000-year-old tree. When you go there, the falls, then they've got an old church that was built by the Spanish. It's like 6 or 7 tourist things that you go. It's a whole day trip. If you come over here for the first time, take that trip. It's only like 12 to 1,500 pesos. And either the tricycle driver or somebody in the multi-cab will take you. And they'll stop at all these places. Then they'll eventually stop so you can get something to eat. But it takes you all the way around the island and bring you back to where you started. I've never been this far. Hey, Tyrone Spillman, he says, I think the insecurities plays a lot with the problem of some men that has to get over that cow or finally grow up. Yeah, we've been beat down so much, man, over there, Tyrone, and told, we don't mean anything. The women don't need us over there. They want you to be perfect. And you look in the mirror every day and you're not perfect. And as you get older, your insecurities grow even more. So when you come over here and a woman really likes you for what you have to offer, it's hard to believe. And it takes a while. Fortunate for me, I came over here, I was still young. I was 45 when I first came over here. So by the time I started getting old and getting to the point where I could collect Social Security, I already knew what was over here. And I just try to share that with people, but you can't tell them. You can talk to you blue in the face, and they're just not going to believe you. Why would a woman want me like that? Well, she only wants my money. Okay, well, that's smart of her. What do you want? I talked about this before, where the women in the West, they try to get on the Filipinos case. Oh, she only wants you for your money. Well, what do you want me for? Is this the reason why you make so many errors in judgment when it comes to men? Okay, because you're going by looks and all that other superficial stuff. At least, she's going for something that's concrete there. If nothing else, he's going to be able to take care of me. He might not be able to, break my back in the bedroom and all that stuff like that, but he's certainly going to put rice on the table. And, I'm going to live a lot better than what I was. I don't see anything wrong with that because that's going to be a factor in any relationship. I mean, for just to have, some of the women I've dealt with over here, man, just to uh, be able to uh, get into the conversation with somebody like that, it's just, I'm dreaming in my country. I'm sorry. So if you get the chance, the opportunity, man, don't take advantage of the women, man. You know, Even though you hear all these horror stories, that's because guys aren't doing their homework. They're rushing. The red flags are there. They just avoid them. They just ignore them. I mean, my buddy, man, he's really hurting, man. And I told him today, we chat back and forth. I just said, look, man, you didn't do anything wrong. The only thing you did wrong was you trusted the wrong person. Because he said, the woman that, the food around on him, he did all this for the woman. I mean, he literally took her from the mud and she had nothing. Okay. He put her on a path going somewhere. I mean, just like that. But he didn't know her well enough. The signs was there. He just didn't see them. He ignored them, man. She had dealt with a foreigner before. She had her children when she was younger. You know, just those two big red flags right there. It's like, let me see, maybe there's a better option over here for me. I guess he thought because he didn't meet the woman online that he was doing something good. Hey, what's up, Drew Moore? He says, I'm coming back again, Cal. We need to hook back up. My birthday's June the 6th. Yeah, well, if you're here now and you're anywhere near St. Carlos City, as a matter of fact, a week from Saturday, we're having the meet and greet. It's going to be a good one. Come on out. That's usually where we meet. The meet and greets are so important. You get to talk your language, man, and you get to talk about stuff that you're not going to be able to talk about with your girlfriend, even though she understands what you're saying. But she don't get your jokes and all that stuff. You got to be real careful with your sarcasm and all that. That's true. But yeah, people are disappointed when they come over here and they don't see the stuff uh, that they left behind at home. The super fast Wi-Fi. I was measuring the Wi-Fi here, and it was like 47 or something. Which if you're at home, you're like, that's nothing. In America, it's what the average is 200 something Mbps, and hell, the upload speed is it's crazy. So if you're looking for that over here, if that's gonna stop you from coming over here, you see, I've got good Wi-Fi right here, and I'm really in a remote area, man. This is off the beaten track, guys. Don't let this fool you. You can't see this place from the street. The only way you're gonna see this place is from the ocean. If you're in a boat, if you're just riding around that main road, I'm way far from the main road. You're not gonna see this place. That's what I like about it. See, when you go to the Métis area of San Juan, everything's on the street. And the progress is taking over, but here, man, it's way. I'm like, well, people have vision here because I'm like, what would make him build this place back here? He must know something that nobody else knows. But here's one thing he knows: Filipinos drive the tourism industry here, not foreigners. Domestic tourism is what drives tourism. So I don't know why people, they make these videos. Oh yeah, the international visitors are down. It's just tiny percentage. Of course, they want it up, but it doesn't mean they're losing any money. Because believe it or not, man, Filipinos, there's a lot of middle class and rich Filipinos over here who who go to these places and those nice places and those casinos and all that stuff and buy these big SUVs and all that stuff like that. Just imagine, okay, it's 120 million people. Just say 15% of the people can afford everything you can afford, which they can. It may even be more than that. What are you looking at? 18 million people? That's twice as many visitors that come over here, foreigners anyway. He said, don't buy any property after watching 20 videos not to do it. Yeah, but I got to kind of push back on that just a little bit, okay? Because there's people here you can trust, guys, okay? I wouldn't be in a hurry to do it, to come over here, and I wouldn't be in a hurry to spend any more that I couldn't walk away from. But what people aren't listening to, especially when I say it, is you don't need to spend a whole lot of money to build you a nice house over here. Buy you a small plot of land, or lease you a small plot of land, and build you a house for 20 or 30,000 and be done with it. If you want to come over here showing out, because that's what we do, we show out, man. We're showing out in front of these women when they, man, look, when I built that house for $20,000, it would cost less right now with the dollar being stronger now. Don't you know that was way beyond what Maryland wanted? She couldn't imagine spending 1,000,000 pesos on a house. Neither could my ex-wife, because the 17,000 I had, that's what I was going to spend on the house. They already had the lot free and clear up in Cebu land. They couldn't imagine spending that kind of money on a house, so it never was built. Maryland only wanted one room and a CR. She just wanted something that she could call her own for her and her two daughters. But if you don't talk to the woman, if you don't know what her dreams are, and you just get out there showing out, fronting, you're going to end up spending more. Man, these guys are spending just a tremendous amount of money, and it's just them and the woman. And they're in these big old monstrosity of a house. And you're like, why did you spend all that money? Some guys are spending 8 million, 12 million, 20 million on houses. Don't do that. Okay. But if you want to come over here, man, if you're going to retire here in a place like the Philippines or Thailand, because there's a guy, Emmanuel, and he built a beautiful home in Thailand, and I forgot where he built it. But this guy's sharp, man. I mean, he's not a dummy. Okay, he knows he can't own property, but he knew how he wanted to live. But it wasn't it wasn't 5, 8, 10 million. He didn't spend much more than what I did. I think he spent about 35 or 40,000. But there's people over here that you can absolutely trust. But it's gonna take you a while. Yeah, don't come right over here doing that. But we're showing out, man, in front of women, and when a whole lot less would do. Okay, I'm telling you. Maryland's over the moon. She'll never pay me. In her mind, she'll never be able to pay me back for me building that house, but she's gonna try. This is what y'all don't listen to. You have to understand that under no circumstances, she's got a 4-year college degree, a real college degree, not some bullshit college degree. She's a professional woman, a bookkeeper. She had plenty of clients. Under no circumstances, with the money she was earning, would she ever have built a house like that. But to me, it's nothing. I could walk away today, give her that house, which that's why I built it. I built it for her and the kids. I didn't build it for me. Hell, I could live in a place like this for the rest of my life. But she's going to try. Okay, and it's fun letting her try. She appreciates that. But all her money that she was earning was spent. There was no saving. Sending her kids. I realized something. Maryland was sending her kids to private schools before she met me. Okay, I just took over the payment. But Merlin was already, she already knew the importance uh, of education over here. So she was already doing that. Her kids were not in public schools when I met her. He says, I think the hardest thing about living abroad is boredom and loneliness. Well, what are you doing in your country? You can do it over here. What are you doing over there? There's a tennis court right there. Do you fish? Look at all that big ocean back there. What do you do? Do you jog? Do you walk? What do you do? See, this is another uh, misconception. What are you doing at home? You can do it here and probably more because it's not going to cost you as much. One guy came over here. I guess he's a world class scuba diver now because it's so much less to take up scuba diving over here as a hobby than it is in America, certainly. But if you're bored over there, you're going to be bored over here. What are you doing there? Do you read? Do you listen to music? What do you do? I mean, so much to explore over here. The transportation, man, you can get on a bus. Okay. When we leave and go from Dumaguete to San Carlos City, which is 5 hours on by bus, it's only 370 pesos. So what would that be? Let's see. If it's six, then 6 put my three. Yeah, it's about $6. But you're gonna be bored over there. I mean, you're gonna be bored over here if you're bored over there. Hey, confident voice speaks. Thanks for that super chat. Let me pull you up. It's hard for me to. I've got very little space here. I don't know what's going on here. I'll get to you, man, when I can. I can. Okay. It's hard for me to. I can't see. I mean, I can see, but see, when people think, "Oh man, you're not answering my comments," man, I've got just a little thing, a little smidgen. I got to go with these big big sausage fingers of mine. Okay, here we go. TJ says you gotta watch a little less TV. There's plenty of places you're safe in Chicago, so long as you're not a young black man. Yeah, well, I'm just saying that, when you talk about Mindanao, it's the same way in Mindanao. If you know, I'm just not trying to be irresponsible and say, oh, it's okay if the State Department says reconsider. But I'm saying what I meant to say was you're no more in danger there. There's a lot of places you can go in Mindanao that's safe, so long as you don't go in those forbidden areas. Baziland, Holo Salute, Tawi Tawi, certain places in Tawi Tawi. And you see these vloggers who go just to snub their nose at the authorities and everybody else. But trust me, these guys most of these are big bloggers and they've called ahead and they've got security with them. They don't show you. So I figured that one out a long time ago. Because me and Derek Q, we were going to go to, was it Baziland or Holo Salute? One of them, because, man, you're talking about the beaches are so pristine there. And I said, man, we can mix it up. But the more videos I watched, you could see off to the side because they're always eating. When it's time to eat, they always got all these Filipino men around them, but there's no women. I'm like, oh, this is security. You can't go in that place like that. I mean, they're deep, right on the beach. Everybody can see them. But that was my point. That's my point exactly, TJ, about Mindanao. But I don't want to. I don't want to be, just say I think I know more than the authorities because I don't. What's up, Anthony Tucker? They know a whole lot more than me. So I just tell people it's safe for me because I really don't know you. I don't know what you're into. I don't know who you're gonna be hanging with. Do you smoke? Do you drink? What are you doing? Are you chasing somebody else's wife? Because y'all don't believe shit stinks. When I say, look, man, if these women are married, man, leave them alone. I don't care what kind of sob story they give you. You're only getting one side of the story, man. You know, right now in San Carlos City, man, it's just some crazy stuff going on. And this guy, these are locals, where even though they're split up, the man still got feelings for the woman. And the guy she's with, Maryland's like, I hope that he don't, get in trouble. The woman have moved on, but the man, he ain't moved on. And you don't know that. See, you come over here and get yourself in some trouble, man. All these women over here, and you want to deal with a woman that's married, and she gonna give you the sob story. Oh, he cheated. He ran off. She gonna throw the man under the bus. She's not telling her side. It's just, the very first woman I really dealt with was she was married, but what saved me was she lived upstairs and he lived downstairs. But he had his new family with him. And she just said they grew apart. They had been together since hell they were teenagers. They had built a business together, photography business together, you know, and he took half the business and she had half, but she couldn't keep us going. But he lived right downstairs. He saw me coming and going, even though we didn't stay there. We stayed at Tomboli. If I'd have known then what I know now, man, I wouldn't have fooled with her, man. And she was a fox. I mean, she was. For 41 years old, man, this woman, man, she was vain. She looked in the mirror at herself, man. It take her an hour to get ready. Her blue jeans had to fit right, and I mean everything. But she was a stunner, man. But just the fact that, you know, I knew enough not to get serious with her. And remember, she put the game down to me about dating over here. She said, I'm too old for you, because I was 45. As a matter of fact, she said I was too young for her for real. Hey, Ron, what's up? But she told me the whole story. She tried her best to show me the Filipino culture and, you know, be a good, neighbor, really, but I wasn't listening, man. The only thing I heard was that lady say, oh, you can deal with young women over here. But she was educated. She had uh, a thriving business at one time. Over here, everybody, you need photos for just about everything, school IDs, employee IDs, you need all kind of stuff. They had a photography business. It was called Snap something. I never forget it. But she told me what to do, and I went home and did it. But yeah, she tried her best, man, to help me. Hey, Paul, he says, Cal, you look more relaxed. They ever worry about rabid dogs in the Philippines? Yeah, there's something called glanders disease going around on Siquijor right now. They've got an alert, but it usually comes from horses, donkeys, and mules, but it can be transmitted via domestic animals too. But the dogs here, they don't bother you, the stray dogs. The only time you gotta be careful is if you're walking close to a resident. The dog is gonna bark. That's a protective mechanism that kicks in. And that's why if you see my walk, when I walk from St. Carlos City to Dumaguete, whenever I get to a residential area, I would scoot closer to the street. But in St. Carlos City, they give free rabies shots. And they actually have dog catchers. See, St. Carlos City's on a whole other level, man. You wouldn't believe it. They'll come around and they'll give your dogs free rabies shots. And they take a lot of them wild dogs off the street. That's why we got to be careful at night. We make sure our dogs are in or they'll get them. Okay, and then I can't remember which one, but they spay and neuter the dogs. I don't know which one is free. If the girl dogs are free and the boy dogs cost about 10,000 pesos, or the boy dogs are free and the girl dogs cost 10,000. But one of them is free. They do all of that. But I mean, I don't just walk up to them and pat them. I know they're there, but a lot of times, man, hell, they're so hungry, and they don't have any energy to come after you. They got to eat. But I've never had a problem. The only dogs I've ever had problem with is, when they belong to the homeowner. Most dogs, when you hear them dogs barking, that's from somebody's house. They're smart to do that. That's why we got them. See, we didn't have a dog for a long time. And we finally got Curly, and Merlin's like, yeah, we need a dog, to let us know if somebody's coming. Yeah, I didn't know we was going to end up with 5 dogs. Raymond Smith says they should just come over here like I'm going to do and get their feet wet and take your time. That's right. You can watch all these videos you want, but we can't do the Philippines any justice. I promise you we can't, man. It's better than what we try to describe it. And it's not as bad as what people say it is. Because when you hear people talking about, oh, the poverty and the garbage and this and that, right? You think to yourself, as somebody who's lived here for so many years and been coming, I'm like, well, where do you live? What part of the Philippines do you live? And why would you live around something like that? Do you see all of that here where I am? Do you see that at my house? Do I walk past it on my way to the store sometimes? Yeah, but I don't hang around it. Okay. When you hear people talk about that, guys, you got to use your common sense and be like, and where are you living? Do you live in Tondo or somewhere like that? We live a totally different lifestyle than a lot of the locals. But remember, there's Filipinos over here who have more money than you'll ever have. Okay, that's what is going to shock you too, the wealth that's over here. But for somebody to keep putting the Philippines down, all the poverty, all the trash, all the this, all of that, I'm like, well, dude, where are you living? Who are you hanging around with? That you see that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They're lying, man. The most of the negative comments and stuff you get are from people who've never stepped foot in this place. Okay? Now I'm just telling you, okay, and I'm gonna eventually get to you Confident Voice Speaks, because he's over here, he'll tell you. It's not even like that. Can you find that stuff over here? Yeah. But it's nowhere near like that 24 hours a day. Man, I was over my buddy Smiley's house. He lives in, real nice condominiums right across from a Yala Mall. I mean, you would, I guarantee you that to live in a place like that in America, man, I don't know if he could afford it. That's what that's the existence most of us have over here. Hey, Laura, he said, good food, comfortable bed, and nice weather is what I like. Yeah, and that's what I've got. That's what I've got. The food here in this resort is, I mean, I'm surprised. Let me say I'm shocked because it's off the beaten path. The cook that they got here, they need to pay the cook whatever the cook wants to keep the cook, because that's what happens here, unfortunately. You'll go to a place and the food is fabulous, and you'll come back 2 weeks later and it's crap. And you're like, what happened? They got a new cook. They couldn't pay the cook, or the cook left for whatever reason. That's the reason why in St. Carlos City at Mawani, that's the reason why the food is so good. The cook has been there ever since I've been there. I've been there over 6 years. He's been there. The same chef and his staff. So you're going to get the consistency. But when you hear them guys talking all crazy about the Philippines, they're not over here. And if they are, man, they need to go on back home if they're going to be that miserable. I wouldn't be here. What's up, Juice? It's my buddy. I'm telling you about when I get to Chicago, man. I got their best and brightest showing me around. I don't have nothing to worry about. Him, Eric Sadler. He says those infrastructure guys just don't get it. Some of us actually desire complete change in culture. Yeah. See, that's what I was talking about when I said uh, cost of living and other perks Westerners ignore while living in developing countries. And the Philippines is like a step above a developing country. It's the culture. We want to come over here and we just want to transplant our body here, but we don't want to the culture. John was like that. He didn't want to be around the people. He wanted exact everything that was in West Virginia or wherever he was from over here. He just wanted to be in the Philippines. He wanted nothing to do with the culture. That's one of the fun part. That's the fun part. The interesting part, seeing stuff you never seen before, doing things you never done before. I mean, we come over here, we think the greatest thing about the Philippines is the women, man. You far off, man. It's not. A woman's not gonna keep you here, man. I promise you. She's not gonna keep you here. But yeah, you're just like me. This you're speaking my language, Juice, because this is what I said at the beginning. I said I just wanted to get away. I needed a break. I knew my money was going to be enough here. I said the Philippines is so different from where I'm from that's what appeals to me, and that's why I don't get bored here. It never gets old to me. I wrote that this morning. Now, some people they're not gonna want to live here. They're not gonna like it as much as I do. But I'm not trying to sell the damn Philippines. The Philippines doesn't need me to sell it. I wouldn't be doing the Philippines any justice. And this place is beautiful here, man. I mean, it's just naturally beautiful. It just looks like they built a resort right in the middle of all this stuff. Lola Chan said they're just a guy that has a lot of money. Why is that so special? I think the same way about them. Yeah, it's just that it's nothing to brag about anymore. Certainly, with all the problems going on in the world, rich people don't impress me anymore. And when I was growing up, yeah, when I see people with all that fancy stuff, I'm like, well, it's your money, but I'm not impressed. Then you're gonna be broke. They talking about Floyd Mayweather, whether you want to believe it or not. It wouldn't shock me if it was true that he's in bankruptcy or whatever. Would it shock you? Okay. With all the crazy stuff people buy, it just doesn't, I'm like, well, what are you got some type of personality problem that you have to impress people with material things? You can't impress them with just being Floyd Mayweather, one of the great boxers of all time. That should be enough, man. There's something wrong with him. How many cars can you have? How many watches can you have? He bought a watch, his most expensive watch, because one of Marilyn's friends is selling a Rolex for 1,000,000 pesos, and Marilyn couldn't believe it. Now, 1,000,000 pesos, that's not even $20,000. She's like, are there watches that really cost 1,000,000 pesos? I was like, Marilyn, are you kidding me? So I looked up Floyd Mayweather. His most expensive watch is 18 million. But then we looked up the most expensive watch right now on the market is 55 million. Okay, $55 million, by the way. His watch collection is estimated to be 100 million. Will he get 100 million for it? I don't know. But I'm saying, damn man, you're only one of the greatest boxers to ever put on gloves. That should be enough, but it's not. He's got some type of personality thing going on. He rides around in a car and shows you $1,000,000 in cash. What's that all about, man? Come on, man. You know, old money doesn't do that. People, we got to act like we've been there before. He says, I agree with you about the rich people. And it's so bad now. I mean, they just don't want us to have nothing. Look that up. The richest 1% in the world, their wealth increased 21 trillion during the pandemic, where the rest of us at negative 900 billion. And I mean, they're just sucking the life out of us. Meanwhile, we're sitting around arguing with each other over the petty stuff. They're doing stuff on purpose to distract us. They're making you mad and angry because you can't think when you're mad and angry. And they're running out the back door with everything, man. I mean, imagine the president of the United States accepting a $400 million plane right out in Clear Blue, right in front, on Front Street, like it's nothing anymore, man. They're not even having it anymore. And he's justifying it. Man, we living in some crazy times, man. It's just crazy. He said, uh, Cal, did you get all your vaccines, like the rabies shot? Not to come over here. But, we've had all those shots. When we were coming up, we had no choice. This whole vaccine argument never made sense to me. We'd be crying in the line, man. When we were going to school, you couldn't sign no waiver and have your parents and bring it to school, and you don't have to take the shot. You was in that damn line, snot running out your nose, you crying. You seen that big ass gun, that damn thing hurt. I still got the mark on me today. You don't believe it? Here it is. From the 3rd grade. I was 8 years old. I'm 61. I'll be 62 next week. And I took the vaccine over here. I'm not going to argue with anybody about it. I'm okay. If I die, guys, it's not going to be because I took that vaccine almost 5 years ago. Okay, stop with all that. When I was in the military, I had to take the vaccines. You didn't have a choice. But yeah, if they told me I need to take a vaccine right now, okay, because Duterte wasn't playing. He said, you either take that vaccine or don't bring your ass outside. Okay, that's the type of leadership that was needed over here. Okay, I'm way behind now because hell, that's already, I've already seen that. Because it's hard for me to keep up with these little bitty ass. Yeah, I took all the vaccines. I wasn't, man, if you were over here, it wasn't like in America, see, where you look on TV, it's like, is COVID even going on over there? I think that's why it spread so much. People wasn't wearing masks. People were getting killed. You see that was in Flint, Michigan, where the guy at the Family Dollar, the security guard, for asking the woman to put on a mask. She got mad. They argued. She went home and got the son and the husband. Now they all three. I think one of them got the death penalty, but the other two, they got life in prison over a damn mask. They're gonna kill this man. That's what was going on over there. It wasn't going on over here. See, one thing that you're gonna like over here. See, I like law and order. I don't have a problem with that. See, people respect authority over here. When Duterte said, "Look, you stay your ass in the house," crime dropped 45% over here during COVID. Even the bad guys stayed in. Okay, they even wore them damn shields and them damn masks. And Duterte said, if you want to come outside, if you want to start traveling around the Philippines, he said, I'm willing to open it back up, but you got to take that shot. Everybody took it. They didn't even hesitate. He said, you can eat certain street foods, just look for larger crowds of locals, as some of the best foods are local cuisine. Yeah, you got to be careful though. Um, our favorite place here where we used to work out, it burned down. And that was the only Calendria that I would eat at, and I would never hesitate because I'd get there early when the food was fresh. It was good. It was a Calendria though. But you got to be real careful here because remember, there's no FDA. So uh, Filipinos are going to sell their food until it's gone. So say, for instance, they got a pot of white navy beans. If they didn't sell it all on Thursday, guess what? On Friday, they're going to heat that sucker back up and be selling you bowls of white beans, for 15 pesos again. So you got to be real careful. Yeah, you got to know where you're going. He said, yeah, Cal, we've been conditioned to be intimidated. Western thinking. Yeah, certainly when it comes to women, I love the China. So men, oh man, that's why when guys, I chuckle, I laugh when they say, "Oh, you don't need the dating sites. Just come over there and meet a woman." Here you are, you're 72 years old. Who in the world? Come on, guys, think about this. Man, women will run from you. These are typical young women over here. They're not from outer space. If you go in the mall, you're 72, 62, 74, 69, you know, and you got your old man clothes on, you got your old man outfit on, and you go and try to talk to one of these women out in public, man, you're going to get shot down. She's going to be polite doing it, but you're going to get shot down, and they're going to laugh at you. You don't have to do that. And you're afraid anyway. You're not going to do it anyway. If you see some of the women over here, man, I mean, they're just absolutely gorgeous. You're never going to open your mouth and say not one thing to them. Now, will the younger guys do? Yeah, but a lot of them are still intimidated. It's the Western thinking. They think because they come over here all of a sudden, oh, I'm changed. No, you haven't changed. Beauty still intimidates us. So the best thing to do is get your ass on the dating site and find out how to work that thing. Because that's where the women are. They're there, guys. That's where I met Marilyn. That's where I met my wife. That's where I met my son's mother. Okay, the 22-year-old that I met that turned out to be 18. I met on the dating site. There's good women. That's where they are. I believe that's the way they want us to meet them. I mean, has men met women at the mall and stuff like that? Yeah. But I guarantee you, she already had a profile on one of these dating sites. There just has to be some extenuating circumstances for her to even talk to you in public and be comfortable talking to you in public. Even when they're introduced to you, the woman probably got a damn uh, profile online because they know that's the comfortable way that they're gonna meet you too, and they'll feel comfortable. Hey, winning with Isaac. Thanks for that super chat. He said, keep going. Appreciate you, man. I'm way behind because I'm not on my laptop, but I did want to come outside and give y'all a little scenery. Yeah, I'm way behind. But yeah, just come over here. I would and get my own perspective about the Philippines, and you'll be shocked. I mean, I'm no different than anybody else. Y'all act like I've never been anywhere. Y'all act like, you know, that I wasn't living hell 5-star lifestyle one time. Like I'll just accept anything. I won't. But I get it over here. This is the Philippines. This isn't America. I don't expect it to be America, and I'm glad it's not. I'm reading I Wonder as I Wander by Langston Hughes. He's in Russia now. He's in 1930s Russia. And it's the guy who gave me the book. He said, Cal, you're really going to enjoy this book. He said, when I read it, I thought about you. And man, he's such a great writer. Of course, he's a famous poet and all that. He's dead, been dead. But he's in 1930s. He's been in 1930s, Cuba, Haiti. Now he's in Russia. He's eventually going to go to a bunch of places. And he's talking about how life is for a black man back then. And I can feel him. He's like, because even though he was from New York, he made a tour through the South. And he wasn't used to Jim Crow. He had only heard about it. He was like, look how silly this is. How silly are people? He said they got thirsty because he was famous. So he was going from college to college, reading his poetry. It was like he was like on a concert tour. And he said him and his driver, they got so thirsty, they stopped at a place, and the man, came to the counter. He said, hey, can me and my friend get cold drinks? And the guy said, no, you got to go around the side. And he said it was a little bitty square hole for black people to get it. He said it was so ridiculous, he laughed out loud. He said, of course, I didn't buy anything. And we got in the car and left. That's what I feel when I come over here. It's like an escape. This is why I love the Philippines over here. No matter all that other stuff, man, I'm somebody over here. I'm a real man over here. I'm respected as a human being over here. It's colorism over here. It probably is if I'm trying to run for public office or beauty contest or be a singing star, a movie star. I'm not trying to do all of that. I don't have to worry about that. It's like a weight has been lifted off my shoulder. But it's a great book, man. I'm really enjoying it. And he was just talking about that. He said that what was so strange, he said he went through El Paso, Texas. And, there's an invisible line really that, well, now it's probably a damn border fence or wall. But then he said it was an invisible line that separated El Paso, Texas from Juarez, Mexico. And he said a black man who couldn't eat in white establishments and everything like that, he stepped across this imaginary line. Now he could eat everywhere he wanted to, drink in any bars. He said, and then the white guy who would not drink next to a black man in El Paso, Texas, would drink next to him in Juarez, Mexico. So see, this is what I feel when I come over here. I don't know about anybody else. Among other things, I was looking for that. I was trying to get away from all that, man. That's there. That's in America. If you deny it, man, you're crazy. And you're going to keep suffering, man. Eventually, you probably die of stress and a heart attack. It's over there, man. Did y'all see the foolishness that this clown in the White House, the show he put on with the South African president, man? Can you imagine disrespecting a head of state like that? People are crazy now, and we're standing back. We're watching it. I don't deal with that over here. Imagine a president, a U.S. president, making up some crazy stories, conspiracies about a white genocide going on over there in South Africa. Okay, and here it is. One of the Afrikaners, Afrikaner, is the head of the agriculture department in the South African government right now. He's sitting there in the Oval Office saying this stuff's not going on. But this is what we deal with over there. So I'm like, the hell with that, man. I ain't trying to deal with that stuff. So over here, I can escape all of that. What's up, Beach of Life? He said, you back in the Matrix? I know I love the time to be over in Europe all the time. But yeah, just come over here, man. You'll be shocked at what's waiting for you over here. Look at Michael Beach of Life. He's young. What is Michael Beach of Life? 47? He ain't got no complaints. You act like, I don't know who y'all listening to. This place is not as bad as what people tell you it is. It's a whole lot better, man. And it's better than what I can tell you it is. Okay, imagine that. It's crazy. Hey, Hayden, congratulations on your pending marriage. He's getting ready to get married. He's one of the good guys. He talks up the Philippines. Not that he has to. He's living on Bantayan Island. Believe it or not, man, hell. Progress is slowly trying to creep up over there. Corporate Philippines, remember I told you that genius didn't skip the Philippines. There's a lot of genius over here. There's a lot of vision over here. People can see this stuff and be like, even that Bantayan Island. Remember, most of my traveling around, I did with my son's mother in the early days of me coming over in 2010. When I went there, man, there was nothing in Bantan Island. I mean, absolutely nothing. The little place we stayed at, if you wanted to call it a resort, there was nothing on that beach. Now you see that big monstrosity of a resort they're building right on that beach, among all the other places. That Coda resort was not there, that real nice resort. None of that was there. But they're saying, okay, progress is good. You know, we need jobs, bring in jobs. Because, okay, the place I told you we ate the other day was 1,800 pesos for lunch for me and Maryland. Well, we were here a year ago and the same waitresses are there. See, that's a good sign. You know, they must be paying them pretty good. He said, I want to speak with you on doing my first live. Would like to go on after you, just wanting to a few pointers. Well, there's really no pointers. Get you a topic, Hayden, and just talk on that. If you come on after me, people, they're going to carry your live stream like they carry mine. I just have a topic and then I have my life experience, but they're carrying it. People are saying, well, you don't answer my question, man. It's people in the Michael Beecher Life, I Love LaChon, Cisco International, What Times It Travels, Thomas Marshall. I can go on and on. The people in the chat right now who could answer that question just as well as me, they're going to carry your live stream. And for the first few times until you get comfortable, just read the comments and answer their questions because you've got more knowledge than the average person on your live stream. Most of the guys have never been here. You're living the life they want to live. Just talk about your life. Keep it simple, man. Don't complicate it. You know, Roger Walker, I consider him a um, a veteran now. Yeah, we were shoulder to shoulder on the boulevard down in Dumaguete. You know, he took some of my suggestions. He came to Siquijor. He liked it. You know, next time come further down, Roger, place called Gold View. You'll really like it because he really is looking for the peace and serenity. He's not looking for a woman. This is your place. This got you written all over it, Roger. This place does. Because there's nobody here. You could be sitting right over there with your Red Horse beer or your San Miguel beer. He said, hey, Cal, he says, I remember you said 1,500 is a good amount to start there in the Philippines. I'm glad I got close to 2,400. So I got blessed early retirement. Yeah. Now, what I said, Raymond, was that has to be the starting point. You know, we always talk about the $1,000 budget. Well, hell, look how long we've been on this 1,000. At some point, it has to move to 1,500. But yeah, the problem is it's just so much that goes into that budget. You know, 2,400 is not going to get it in the United States, but over here, you can live pretty good off of 2,400. I don't see why people imagine how would your life be in America? You couldn't go on vacation, surely. That 2,400 is going to be eaten up by rent. Rent's half of that. Then another fourth of that is going to be utilities. So hell, by the time you go to the grocery and buy your food and your grocery items, man, you're broke. You don't. You better hope that your car note's paid for. And excuse me, what about your car insurance and all that stuff, man? Just to think that you could come over here with 2,400 and really live good. That's what's clicked in a lot of men's minds over here. That's why they're coming here now. They're saying, okay, if I meet somebody, that's good, but I want to live. Hell, I don't want to starve. You know, meeting a woman is really going to be like the icing on the cake. Hey, what's up, Shelby? And Wendy? He says, hey, Cal, it's been a while since I messaged you. Hope all is well with you. My wife has landed in the Philippines. Wendy and I plan to build a home there and go back and forth. Yeah, that's a good plan. Because I'm going to say something to you. This is what I promised my wife, and I kept my promise. And I told her mother, I said, look, when I move her to America, I'm going to bring her back at least once a year. We were coming back twice a year. Just like we are homesick over here, they're going to be homesick over there. And you really don't want a homesick wife, man. Bring her back here, man. Let her see her family and friends and stuff, and enjoy the dried fish, the real dried fish, the shrimp paste and the blue and all that stuff. And you know, even though they get to talk their language over there. But yeah, welcome to the chat, Shelby. It has been a while. I knew right away when you said Shelby, I knew who you were. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna have to get off here because we gotta move. Here's the only thing about Agoda that I don't like. And Confident Voice Speaks, I'm gonna find you before I get off here. I think this is it right here. Nah, man, I'm way behind. That JC Gilbert, that was a long time ago. I'm gonna find you, man, because before I get over here, but we gotta move to another room. Imagine that. That's what I don't like about Agoda. Yeah, here's Raymond walking, and he finally made it. Here, he's living his best life. He said, "What's up, Cal? I'm loving my time in the Philippines." I know you are. I mean, most rational thinking people will. I mean, what wouldn't you like about this place? I mean, you're not gonna go in the ghetto when you come to Louisville, Kentucky. You're not gonna go straight to the ghetto. So why would you come straight to the ghetto here? You're not gonna do it. This place is beautiful, man. So much natural beauty here, and it's always like this. It's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. If you're suffering from depression and anxiety, this is a quick fix for you here. Yeah, I know you are, man. Enjoying your time. You and Peaches. But yeah, I gotta move to they break your I don't know why they do that, but they break your stay up. Now here this place is empty. Now we're in a queen room with one queen bed. There's nobody here. But we gotta move to a double room with two twin beds. And I'm like, what's that all about? He said, real men are supposed to take care of their lady. I feel the same way. I'm not gonna be a fool, but if you with me, you're gonna live good anyway. The women I've been with, they can say a lot of things. They can't say I didn't take care of them very well. I took them to a whole other level. And the three women that I've mainly been with, their lives have been changed forever. My son's mother just had a $425,000 house built over in America. And you say, oh, it's Habitat for Humanity. It doesn't matter. She did that on her own. There's no her ex-husband died. Of course, my wife, she's living her best life in America right now. Of course, you know what Maryland's doing. But yeah, I'm not gonna. Even my American wife, she can say whatever she wants. I took us out of the mud. I literally showed her a life that she didn't even know existed. Hey, Camellia Cookie, this is Shelby and Wendy. Thank you for that super sticker. But yeah, I got to move rooms at 12 o'clock, and they want you to check out at 12. And even though nobody's here, they're gonna go by the book. They're gonna move us over there. Okay, guess what? It's the building right next to us. So all we gotta do is take our suitcase and go right next door into crazy, right? But it's what I like about this place. It never ceases to amaze me. So thank y'all for your super chat, super stickers, all your thumbs up. all your support for Sunshine Shoulders. I think you're coming to the meet and greet, Confident Voice Speaks. I don't know if you bought a 8,000 mile club patch, but I have one for you anyway, because you gave me that nice piece of, I don't know what that is. Is that like a bookmark, a paperweight or something? That real nice piece of that you gave me from the Navy. So I owe you one anyway, but I know I'm gonna see you there. So take care, y'all. Stay safe, stay out of trouble. I'll see y'all next time. I'll do another live stream here, maybe tomorrow, since it came out good. Because I know I'm not gonna be able to upload any videos here. It takes forever, man. I've been trying to upload this video since yesterday at about 6 p.m. I was doing it for my members only, and it was supposed to switch over to everybody else at 12 noon today. Hell, that thing is only 10%. So look for my live stream tomorrow. Take care.